This is gonna be an unusual idea. You probably haven't heard this as a solution to back pain, but hey, that's what we do on this channel. We actually give you the stuff that actually works for addressing chronic back pain. And by the way, if you've struggled with back pain for more than a few months and nothing is working properly for you, definitely subscribe to this channel because we discuss solutions that probably chances are you won't hear anyone else. And funny enough, they can be the solutions that actually work. I struggled with back pain for more than 10 years. None of the doctors, experts, nobody did anything to help me. They were all pretty much useless. So I kind of had to discover a lot of these things myself. I'm sure other people have discovered a lot of these things as well, but this is based on my own experience, so I know that at least it worked for me, and it has worked for a lot of the people I've worked with, so chances are it's also going to be helpful to you as well. So this is going to be a really short video, but it's also going to be a pretty interesting one because we are going to discuss this idea that sex may actually be a productive way to deal with chronic back pain. Chronic back pain is often described as psychosomatic. What this means is that it involves not just the physical part, so let's say the tissue, the muscles, the tendons, the discs, the vertebrae, the spine, all of that. Sure, that does play a role, but there's also another component to it. This is mostly like a mental, emotional, like psychological component, and they both create like this really complex problem. And a lot of the solutions out there that you're probably gonna see and your doctors are probably gonna recommend, they're mostly gonna try and focus on the physical side. So all of the therapy, the exercises, the painkillers, they're only attacking the physical part of the problem. And nobody talks about the other part. And that's exactly why people struggle with this problem for such a long time. It took me 10 years to heal, but once I figured out like there's something more other than the physical here, healing was, it started to happen really quickly. So you need to address the psychological and emotional components of this problem. And I'm gonna talk a lot about this in other videos. In this video, I'm just gonna recommend that sex may actually be more productive and more helpful for chronic back pain than a lot of people think or believe. Maybe you've noticed this yourself if you have like a partner or another consenting adult. You've probably noticed that when you engage in the activity, you kind of tend to forget about your back pain. And that's the primary goal here. That's exactly how we handle this kind of like psychological, emotional part of the problem through something that I like to call productive distraction. And I have other videos on this topic that go a little bit more into detail. But essentially, you're kind of giving your mind or something else to think about, or rather, like ideally, you completely shut it off. You're not really thinking about it. You're just engaged in activities that use the body. And this is actually a really nice way to get into a flow state, to completely let your body like be almost like free and powerful and fully engaged, and your mind is not really interfering. Your mind can actually be an obstacle to in a healing in a lot of ways, especially with complex problems such as chronic back pain. And there are other activities that primarily involve the body and they help you get into a nice flow state. Things like dancing, acting, socializing, singing, playing an instrument. All of these are predominantly things that you do with your body, and your thoughts, your mind is actually not that much involved. Other activities that are mostly mental, let's say like reading or playing chess or even working in an office, let's just say on your laptop, they can also put you in a flow state, but I've discovered they're not as potent as the activities that only require your body, and your mind should kind of get out of the way and let your body do all of the work here. These are actually much better activities for productive distraction, and obviously sex is exactly like that. It really you shouldn't probably be thinking of that much during the activity, while your body should do most of the action here. And that's why it's such a great tool for addressing chronic back pain. I have a ton of resources on chronic back pain that are just as unusual as this video, maybe even more, some of them. So if you're interested in approaches like this that are actually effective, none of the common stuff that doctors are gonna prescribe, and you're gonna discover that it doesn't really work. If you're interested in this, I have a completely free book on chronic back pain. Links to it are gonna be in the pinned comment or description. Definitely check it out. I think you're gonna find it to be quite valuable. The next video that's gonna appear above me is also a great place to continue learning about chronic back pain. I will see you there, and until next time, be brave.